What are you wearing? Aha. Safety first, kids. In his 1887 debut novel, A Study in Scarlet, Arthur Conan Doyle describes how Sherlock Holmes invents an infallible test for bloodstains. In the real world of 1901, the precipitin test is developed to detect human blood. Today, we use chemical methods all the time to identify bloodstains, like phenolphthalein, or antibody-based tests like OBTI. In today's episode, we're diving into the riveting world of forensic science to answer a crucial question. Is that human blood? Hey, welcome to The Science Detective. I'm real-life crime scene investigator Zack and today we're going to talk about blood. You know, several years ago, I was called to a scene where there was this large suspected blood stain in front of a business, and the patrol officer wanted me to come out and test to see whether or not it was actually blood. I took my chemical test, swabbed it, and turned out it wasn't blood. It was actually General Tso's sauce because we were in front of a Chinese restaurant. But those are just one of the different ways that we can take suspected stains to verify whether or not something has actually occurred. It's important to know whether or not a stain is blood, and even more so, is it human blood? Today, we're going to explore how investigators use chemical tests like phenolphthalein and immunological assays like OBTI to detect blood at crime scenes. So, grab your swabs, throw on your face shield, and let's get into the blood. First up is the phenolphthalein test, or the Kastle-Meyer test. This is a presumptive test that tests for the presence of hemoglobin, which means that it can tell us if something is blood, but not if it's human blood. Here's how it works. When phenolphthalein reacts with hemoglobin in an alkaline solution, it turns a vivid pink. This is because hemoglobin acts as a catalyst, allowing the phenolphthalein to be oxidized by the air. First up, we need a blood stain. This was Bonesworth's shirt when he went on a Bigfoot expedition and was attacked. Thankfully, he got away just by the skin of his bones. So we're gonna take this shirt and test the blood stain. Put some gloves on. I will skip on the eye protection, and we need to swab our sample. So we take these sterile swabs. These are just cotton tip applicators. We all probably have PTSD from having them shoved up our nose and tickling our brain. And so we're gonna take one of these and we're going to swab a sample of the stain, roll it around and sample the particular area until we get enough of the sample on there. Now, how much is enough? Well, I like to be able to visibly see it on the cotton tip. This has a this is very sensitive. So we're gonna take our phenolphthalein test, take our cotton tip swab, break the swab tip into the bag, and then seal the bag. So in here, we have 3 different vials. So we're gonna put the sample in, and then first we're gonna crush the yellow vial. And we're gonna mix this for a second by agitating it ourselves, right? Then we're gonna do the black vial, we're gonna agitate again for a second, and then we're gonna do the white vial. We're gonna agitate again for a second. And that solution is gonna be that alkaline solution that is gonna react with the hemoglobin and allow for a reaction, a coloring reaction. So what we're looking for is we're looking for a really vivid pink to pop out and say, hey, I'm blood. So let's try this. All right, so now the first one that we have to do is we have to pop this yellow one. So this is a glass ampule that's inside of it. So I try not to do it with my bare hands because I've totally had the glass go through the plastic before and I've cut myself, and that's the last thing I want to do. So I typically take something hard and break it up against that way. And we're gonna get that liquid out and shake for a minute. And we're going to do the black one. Shake for another minute, get that solution mixing. And then last but not least, do the last one. Shake. There we go. Vivid pink color, meaning that we have blood. So we know it's blood, but really it's more important that we know, is it human blood? And that's where an immunoassay like OBTI comes into play. So these are by Blue Star Forensics. Shout out to my friends over at Blue Star Forensics. And this is the Blue Star OBTI. So we'll open this up. And once again, this is an immunoassay, so it's very similar to those that were used during COVID or like pregnancy tests, because what we're doing is we have a little cassette that's got filter paper and it's got antibodies. So let's swab a sample. Take this one. Get a good test sample. So then we're going to take our little ampule that has our buffer solution in it, and we're going to unscrew the top. This is also another way. It's got this little plastic rod that you can use for sampling. I prefer to sample with my cotton tip swabs. I'm gonna take that swab, break it off inside there. Screw the cap back on, and then we're gonna agitate it. We're gonna agitate it typically for about 30 seconds. And what we're doing is we're getting that blood all nice and flowing within the buffer solution. All right, so like I said, we have 2 wells here. So this buffer solution now with the blood is going to, we're gonna put a few drops into the well that has S or sample. And it's gonna go into that filter paper, and it's gonna work across the filter paper, and the blood is going to start reacting with the antibodies that are built within the filter paper. So we're gonna look for 2 lines that are going to go across this cartridge. So we'll go ahead and break the tip off. And ever so slightly, 1, 2, 3. 3 drops. And it's already starting to work across the test paper. And while we wait for it to work across the paper, if you're enjoying this video, then do Bonesworth and I a favor and hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel for more future fun forensic crime and science content. All right, so there we go. We have 2 lines that have appeared. One across the T, meaning for test, and one across the C for control, meaning that this is a positive sample indicating the presence of human blood. So, blood, yes. Human blood, yes. Bonesworth, you just barely made it out alive. So that is how you test for human blood using OBTI. Using phenolphthalein and OBTI test, investigators can quickly and effectively determine the presence and origin of blood at a crime scene. It can be critical in investigating a scene and building a good case, because sometimes there is blood everywhere. But is it human blood? For more than a century, we've used phenolphthalein to test for blood. What does the future hold? Do we have gadgets like tricorders in Star Trek? Will I be able to take my phone and test a sample out in the field? I think we will. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for exploring with us today. I'm Detective Zack, this is Bonesworth, and until next time, stay curious. No, these aren't chopsticks, these are swabs. Even though we were just talking about Chinese food. Hey, look at this. I can use swabs like chopsticks. This is how you swab. This is a new technique of swabbing blood. All right.